Off with breaking news, or officials say the driver of a tanker truck is dead after that tanker burst into flames when it crashed. We're going to show you some video. We're going to show you video of the huge flames and black smoke that came from that overturned tanker. Frederick officials held a press conference just before 4 p.m. Look at the flames right there. That was the aftermath, and they were able to get those flames contained within 40 minutes after dispatch. That's according to officials. 6 homes and 5 cars were damaged in various degrees from this fire that you're looking at. We know right now US 15 northbound is still closed, but portions of US 15 south has been reopened. Now, our Dave Laval has been on the scene for several hours. He has been close to that tanker, supercharged, and talked to those who live in that area. Dave, what else can you tell us right now?
Well, what we can tell you right now is that what remains of the tanker still sits on the shoulder of northbound 15 along Apple Avenue. Crews behind me continue to remove the last of the flammable liquid inside the tank that exploded. Though at this point, Frederick County Fire and Rescue Services have not told us what the tanker carried. Home security footage captured the explosion, in which the driver died when he slammed into a tree. The preliminary investigation finds 6 homes and 5 cars suffered damage from the fire. Investigators said strong winds carried flames to some of the homes. There has been no word if anyone home at the time of the blast and explosion suffered any injuries. Velmut Sisson lives on the other side of 15 and described what she heard.
We see these enormous black clouds billowing in 2 different areas. We saw it in north of us, and then south of us. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just a wall of black coming up.
The name of the driver has not been released yet. Maryland State Police have also not said what caused the crash as their investigation continues. It's also important to point out that traffic along southbound 15 is open. Northbound 15 should open shortly. Also, we are going to have to clear this area shortly as they get cars and trucks in and out of here. But again, whoops, got a little too close to the tape that time. But again, the big thing is that crews remain on the scene as they get the last of the flammable liquid out of the tanker that exploded. And that, as you can see, happened right behind me earlier this afternoon, and we are still waiting for word on the name of the driver. We're live in Frederick. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Thank you so much, Dave. We know you've been on the scene following all of this, and he talked about US 15 northbound closed. Officials have said it'll take a while, and we have team coverage for you. We're now going to go to DC News Now, and Nay Simmons, who is also in Frederick, and she talked to some people who saw the flames. And Nay, tell us how people described what they saw.
Yeah, that's right, Tosin. Now, one witness account, Vera Barnfield, she says that people were crying and praying, hoping that the driver of the tanker truck was okay. She kind of details her account, and as you can see behind me, this house is charred and burnt. One family is displaced. Officials say they do not know when they will, but other houses in the area have also faced some damage as well, of just siding burning off. Now, here is some more of what Miss Barnfield says of her account of what happened.
It was really, really bad. The tanker truck had turned over. I was standing right there videotaping the fire. I could feel the heat from the fire. I didn't smell anything, but the heat was really intense. A lot of people was around. A lot of people was crying and praying because we didn't know if the guy made it or not. But later on, we found out that he passed away. It's a sad feeling. It's teary-eyed thinking about it, and knowing that somebody was still in that truck at that time. It's hard to imagine what that person went through. For me to stand out and watch it, it was very, very heartbreaking. It really was, and it still is. Just watching it, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, now other witnesses in the area say that what they heard, it sounded like almost an earthquake-like sound. And we have more team coverage, but for now, I'll send things back to you, Tosin, in the studio, reporting live in Frederick County, Maryland. Anae Simmons, DC News Now.
Anae, thank you so much. And our team coverage continues with Stephen Cohen. He was at that press conference officials held just before 4 o'clock and heard those details firsthand. So, Steve, talk to us about some of the major takeaways from that presser.
Well, I'll tell you, the explosion this afternoon right here on Route 15, as we just heard from Anae, the house here on Apple Avenue was completely destroyed. 2 other structures sustained damage, but they can be salvaged. Unfortunately, the driver is a fatality from this incident. We are awaiting his identification. Mayor Michael O'Connor of Frederick said that there has been no breach of water quality. He wanted to assure residents here, but officials will continue to monitor. He is coordinating with federal officials. Fort Detrick is nearby. Congressman David Trone has been contacted. And the mayor was asked, Route 15 has always been a bottleneck here in Frederick County. He said that actually when the accident happened at noon today, traffic was at a complete standstill. Here now, even 6.5 hours later, 6 hours later, it's moving at a snail's pace northbound. And the mayor wanted to make the case clear that the water quality here is safe. The mayor was also asked to draw any possible parallels to the recent rail accident in East Palestine, Ohio. The mayor said when he arrives at a scene like this, he expects the worst. Maryland State Police were the first to respond. They were able to bring over 100 first responders from neighboring counties, Washington County, right here in Frederick, of course, Carroll County next door, and Montgomery County next door. There was no risk to the public, the mayor assures. He says that the foams that are used to clean up the contaminants from the truck are perfectly safe. And asked to sum it up, the mayor said, this has been a scary day. Reporting live with team coverage from Frederick, Maryland, Stephen Cohen, DC News Now. Back to you, Joe.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much. I appreciate this. We have a live look in here, of course, with our traffic camera, US 15 at US 40. Traffic moving to the south, but not to the north, obviously, with the cleanup process still underway. Let's get to our graphics and show you what it looked like at the noon hour. We were up to 36-mile-an-hour wind gusts at that particular time. And why do I point out the winds? Because with the contamination and whatever liquid was in that truck, that tanker truck, getting up into the atmosphere, it was moving. It was dispersing around the region, and we didn't know, and we really still don't know what's going on there with the contaminants. But needless to say, we were looking at that aspect here in the weather department to see where the wind was going to take whatever got up into the atmosphere. And right now the wind speeds are at 22 miles an hour. They have come down just a little bit, but also, as you saw with our live shots there, thanks to all reporters on the scene, it's still a bit breezy out in that general vicinity and elsewhere. So at least we have clear skies across the area to help the process. No severe weather, no impediments there. So satellite view shows, again, clear skies. And this trend will continue, clear skies overnight tonight and going into tomorrow if more cleanup is necessary. Now, I'll take you into the future here. Going into tomorrow at the noon hour, we'll still see a bit of a breeze out there as well, taking you from Frederick right down into the D.C. region. The winds will start to lessen up a little bit as we go throughout the afternoon and into tomorrow night. They'll be pretty much calm or light, and we still have some wind to contend with even on Monday here. So a little bit of a breeze in and around the region with wind speeds upward of about 20 to 25 miles an hour over the next couple days. Wind direction is primarily going to be out of the northerly direction, north to south, and that trend will continue not only on Sunday, but going into Monday as well. We will have a bit of a warm up here. So again, however long it takes to clean up this accident, it will at least be dry. And specifically tomorrow, again, a metro forecast for Frederick. We're looking at the 40s in the morning, 50s in the afternoon. So yeah, it'll be a dry day for sure. We'll have more coverage, live coverage, of course, with this coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate that, letting us know the impact of the wind. We're now going to go to news that has completely rocked the College Park community this week. The city's now former mayor, Patrick Woyan, will be spending the weekend in jail after being arrested on over 50 child pornography charges. Woyon's bond hearing was postponed to Monday. In the meantime, new court documents into our newsroom show very disturbing information about these alleged videos involving young boys. Our Prince George's County reporter Yamarie Cisse spent a day in the courtroom and has the latest on the investigation and the potential charges that are yet to come.
Yeah, these court documents reveal graphic details of the videos investigators say Patrick Woyon had in his possession and also shared with others. Many of these videos involving young boys, and this was all done using a Kik Instant Messenger account. Now, I was able to speak to a local children's advocacy group, and they tell me they're not surprised. Court documents reveal now former mayor of College Park, Patrick Woyon, used the username SkippyMD on the social media app Kik. According to the documents, detectives say Woyon admitted to having dozens of child pornography videos. They also say he stated that he used a virtual private network and he may have passed it on, indicating that he shared the videos to others.
Every time that image is viewed, every time that image is shared, the child is re-victimized, right? And it's almost impossible to pull those or get those images back. So that is one reason. It's just a devastating and heinous crime.
When police searched Woyon's home on Tuesday, they say they recovered several devices containing these videos in a password-protected folder. They also found 2 graphic photos he took of himself on the Kik account. Michelle Booth-Cole with Safe Shores, a D.C. Children's Advocacy Center, says this is no shocker.
We have to get beyond thinking that because people hold a certain title or they have a certain income or they have a certain stature, you know, that they wouldn't ever do these things.
She encourages parents to create a safe space for their kids.
We have to create a space where they can tell us the things that are happening with them, which is why we have to educate our children from an early age, tell them about these things that happen, that can happen.
Safe Shores also offers training to help adults.
That training teaches adults how to recognize, prevent, and respond appropriately to child sexual abuse. So if adults aren't doing their job, our children are left completely vulnerable. And to me, it always points back at what are we as a caring, responsible community of adults doing to protect children?
Woyon's bond hearing was moved to Monday. And for more information about Safe Shores Children's Advocacy Group, you can visit our website, dcnewsnow.com. For now, reporting from Georges County, I'm Yamarie Cisse, DC News Now.
Thank you, Yamarie. And staying in Maryland, where a man and a woman have learned their fate for their roles in a sex trafficking operation that involved teenagers. Willis Lewis and Brittany Jones are both from PG County. They were convicted on multiple charges last year in connection with their trafficking of 2 teenage girls back in 2019. Lewis has been sentenced to life in prison, Jones to 14 years. Each of them also ordered to pay $17,000 in restitution to the victims.
If the people of Washington, D.C. have elected a council that wants to pass through this revised criminal code, whether you agree or disagree with it, you know, a Democratic president who says he supports D.C. statehood should, you know, veto this law.
And to controversy brewing over a tweet that was sent out by President Biden this week, confusing a lot of people in the district about whether or not the president truly supports D.C. statehood and whether or not he believes that the district should be in control of its own laws. The announcement has caused frustration for people living in the district. Some believe a president who supports D.C. statehood should also support the local government making its own decisions. Those in favor of it say D.C. should create laws allowing the city to function.
We have no laws on the books for a lot of things that people expect you to have statutes for. There's nothing that defines what manslaughter is. There's nothing that defines what assault is.
Lowering penalties for carjacking, that's not going to, he doesn't believe that's going to keep our community safe. So if the bill comes, he's going to take action.
Now, D.C. statehood is something that President Biden has long voiced his support for. Now, if President Biden ultimately sides with the Republicans here, this would be the first time in more than 3 decades that Congress would get in the way of local D.C. laws. Now, take a look at this. Getting more drugs off Maryland streets. Police tell us thousands of illegal pills were discovered during a recent traffic stop in Montgomery County. On Monday, officers arrested a 20-year-old man from Silver Spring after a traffic stop led to the discovery of more than 2,000 fentanyl pills. That's a lot. Other items were found, including a gun. Later that night, police searched the suspect's home and found nearly 2,000 additional pills. He's now facing multiple charges. And we're going to get you to a quick update here in Montgomery County, where a woman will spend a year and a half in prison after being caught stealing thousands of dollars in valuables from an assisted living facility. Prosecutors say Maritza Ramirez, who worked at a Marion Assisted Living in Montgomery County, had at least 11 victims. The investigation into these thefts began in March of last year when one victim's family noticed a cell phone was missing. Another woman, whose 94-year-old mother was a victim, says her mother can't even understand that her valuables were actually stolen.
She feels like she lost them. So we have to lie to her. The day my mother dies, she's always going to think it's her fault that she lost her engagement ring, my grandmother's engagement ring, and her wedding band.
Montgomery County officials say Ramirez was still working at the assisted living facility even after she was charged. But now with a criminal conviction, she won't return.